Hello and welcome to another episode of Scott Reads Comics. Today I'll be continuing my read-through of Jim Starlin's classic Warlock series as represented in the special editions published in 1982 by Marvel Comics. Also, to remind you, if you didn't watch my last video, which covered issue number 1, these issues are readily available in some dollar bins. So please, if you're interested in reading this series, do a little bit of dollar bin diving to figure out which of your local stores might have them. They're also available in this later, though lower quality, but still readily available and nicely reproduced 1992 version. But today I'll be reading through the Baxter edition because I love Baxter editions. So we have Warlock Special Edition number 2. In the previous episode, I neglected to point out the amazing wraparound covers that Jim Starlin did for these when they came out in 1982. So this is him revisiting these characters some 5-6 years later after the original Warlock cycle ran its course. And they're quite amazing. The wraparound covers through all 6 issues are pretty cool. And they're very reflective of the action of the individual issue that they cover. So let's get started. Again, not going to do a full read, just going to do kind of a read through and discussion. I do love these. Al Milgrom, he was the editor of the special editions. His little comic, I think drawn by him, interludes before each story on the inside front cover. So this one is entitled The Trial of Adam Warlock. So this is listed as Chapter 2. And we have on our splash page more of that cosmic weirdness, courtesy of Jim Starlin here. We have the mouth and the eye. And of the 6 issues in this special edition reprint of the Warlock saga, this one is probably the strangest. So you have Krator, who's going to be his judge. In the previous issue, Warlock was trapped by the matriarch of the Universal Church. And so this is him undergoing trial now. So these shapeless individuals are the bailiffs. So they take control of Warlock. And I'm just going to read a few snatches of dialogue just so you kind of get a feel for the weirdness going on here. Infidel, you have been accused of a number of serious crimes. The Universal Church has assigned me the task of seeing you receive a fair trial, which means I shall act as judge, assuring that your destruction is carried out within the strict letter of the law. To your right is our district prosecutor. He shall supply us with phony charges, lying witnesses, and falsified evidence. To your left is your court-appointed defender. He'll supply you with the best legal counsel available if he can stay awake. Once the evidence of your guilt has been proven, your fate will be decided by yonder jury of your peers. Any questions? Warlock says, yes, this court derives its power to judge others from the Holy Magus, correct? True. Then I'd like to move for a dismissal of my case. This court is quite aware that the Magus and I are one and the same being, thus making it impossible for this court to try me. Your power comes from a part of me gone mad. This makes you unfit and unqualified to pass judgment upon me. I demand to be tried by the Magus himself. So, and it goes on as Warlock tries to plead his case to no avail. Again, this is Jim Starlin's not so subtle commentary on the inequities of the government, the systems at large that run society. It's pretty cool stuff. Some of it's pretty heady, and some of it's really, really funny, as you're going to see. And here we see Warlock has been his voice has been silenced because they're tired of hearing him, and they've already been judged guilty. Meanwhile, back in the real world, because this we're going to find out is kind of a projected reality onto Warlock, we see Pip the Troll. Blast that Warlock's eyes, ears, and many other organ he might have used for. I've been deserted. So Pip is on his own, and this is where he meets Gamora. And this is really, I think, our first view of the character of Gamora in the series. The deadliest woman alive. We'll see, a servant and disciple of Thanos. Meanwhile, back in the kangaroo court, Adam Warlock, you have been found guilty and are hereby sentenced to a church house of correction. House of correction, more like a brainwashing center, I'd say. So Warlock has had enough. He breaks free of his manacles. He attacks the prosecutor, this hilarious figure here with the lips and the mouth. And he is removed from the courtroom unceremoniously, but here Krator still is. And Krator is facing him, and here we go again with the soul gem. It basically forces Adam Warlock to take Krator's soul, and so he does. And now things get really weird. Next, the secret of the pit. Pip to the rescue, and 1,000 clowns. So the title of this is 1,000 Clowns. Al Milgrom does the inking on this one. Jim Starlin does the coloring, the penciling, and of course the writing. Orzechowski does the lettering. Len Wein is the editor. We have another one of these long panels which provides us with a lot of exposition. These were appearing in smaller form in Strange Tales, I think, so that's why it was sort of a short issue, that first part, and so this second part is a continuation. All collected into issue 2, of course, of this Baxter edition. So here we have a recap of what happened, including the climax where Adam Warlock goes against the Judge Krator and takes his soul into the soul gem. So now Warlock finds himself in this bizarre realm filled with clowns, and I will say, trigger warning, if you are not a fan of clowns, you may want to check out this video for a couple of minutes because there's a lot of clowning going on here. And we can see some pretty menacing looking clowns here. And in this 3-panel sequence here, Warlock himself is made into a clown. This is John Hotrumi. He's here to see that everyone appears socially acceptable. Do your stuff, Jan. Oh, I like those eyes, but everything else must go. Beautiful, Jan, a true masterpiece. And I think Starlin's taking digs at people here. That's probably an anagram of someone else's name. And here we see Warlock as a clown, quickly using his cloak to wipe himself clean. Here's a great sequence here too. Back in the real world. It's the equivalent of midnight on Homeworld, birthplace of the Universal Church of Truth. The royal guard at the Holy Palace changes watch at this time. Rhaegar, a black knight, has just been relieved of duty for the evening and now trudges off into the night. His destination is home and rest. His destiny is iron-strong fingers gripping his tunic and cold steel pressing against his throat. I wish to speak to you. I wish to know where the prisoner called Warlock is being kept. And he says, Gamora. And you'd best tell her, or prepare to face the wrath of Pip the Troll, the deadliest shot in all of space. What'd you say? Speak up. Sure. I'll tell you anything you want to know. Just keep her away from me. Her? Listen, I'm the one you should be scared. Oop, then you can see his pistol bends against this guy's super tough body here. He's being kept in the sub-basement of the palace section called the Pit. Why there? Messing gun. That's where they recondition people. You've been very helpful. Thank you. You may go now. Hey, that guy almost dropped a brick when he saw you, lady. You've been holding out on me. Babes, there's more to you than meets the eye. Fact is, I don't even know your name. I go by many names, my tick-ridden troll, but I'm sure the one that Black Knight knew me by is Gamora, the deadliest woman in the whole galaxy. Superb shot of her. Great character design. I saw something on the internet the other day that suggested that maybe Esteban Morato created a character who was very similar looking to Gamora before this was published, so maybe Jim was influenced by that character design, but nonetheless, he makes her uniquely his own here, and she is beautiful and menacing and cool. Meanwhile, back in the clown reality, for lack of a better term, Warlock continues to be tortured, and there's a lot of philosophizing going on here by Starlin, and if you read it, you'll see the sort of the questioning of common mores, reality, things like that. It's all very deep and philosophical. And here we see what's really happening. Warlock has never really left. He's in a conditioning room with this helmet on, which is projecting these images into his head. And there's the matriarch looking on. If we're successful, Adam Warlock will become our religion's greatest zealot. He would take anything you say as the church's head as absolute truth. He'd be your eternal slave. Unfortunately, we're not doing that well at succeeding. The programming is being distorted by Warlock's overly strong free will. Instead of seeing us as heroes of the church guiding him to a new life, we're clowns to him. So that basically explains the appearance of the clowns. So the matriarch, while she serves the Magus, is trying to use his past self, Warlock, as a slave to usurp the Magus. It's a bold gambit that will actually not pay off. So we see here these incredible long panels here by Starlin. Again, masterful storytelling, using all the different tools of the medium available to him, and really beautifully represented on this Baxter paper. The colors are so rich, and everything is just really clear and very slickly done. Warlock continues to struggle against the conditioning, and meanwhile, back in the real world, Pip and Gamora close in on his location. And we finally get to see here Gamora in action. Pip, always good for comic relief, but occasionally you see here with the lead pipe, able to contribute a little bit to the fight, but Gamora is doing most of the heavy lifting here. Well, restrain that overly enthusiastic attitude, Maggot. We need one of these technos conscious to help us find Warlock, which the only thing you'll find here is death. My, how melodramatic. Unfortunately, your flair for dynamic entrances far surpasses any fighting skill an ice blue cretin such as yourself might possess. Don't worry, babes. I'll handle this crumb sneaking up behind you. You meatbag. I was well prepared to handle his clumsy attack. I wanted merely to restrain that one, not total him. Now, because you enjoy bashing heads, we're going to have to search the whole lab to find Warlock. Sorry, it's just that I enjoy my work and tend to get overly zealous. So pretty great here. They're kind of an oddball couple. Kind of bummed out that Pip the Troll never really made it into the Guardians movies, but his sort of weird spirit is kind of subsumed into the character of Rocket Raccoon a little bit too, I think. So here's that sinister clown again. And then this awesome creation by Starlin, the Madness Monster. So we have a great fight sequence here. The cool thing about this series is you have a lot of high ideals being thrown around, a lot of, as I've said, philosophizing, but there's also a lot of great comic book action here, and Starlin is a masterful storyteller. And I do like Al Milgram's inks on Starlin's pencils. I prefer Le Aloha. I think he has a smoother line, but Al Milgram is a great inker. And we're getting in really nice results here. Another cool thing, transitioning from this page layout here to this 6-panel breakdown here, a very cool way to depict the end of this fight here. And Warlock cannot defeat the Madness Monster. It's true. You've always been with me, yet I've denied you. The gossamer veil of false morality has been lifted from my eyes. I now see you clearly. You're neither demon nor angel. You're merely a different point of view, no more than a different reality. So Warlock finally breaks the conditioning and the helmet comes off. Welcome back to it. We were about to unplug you, but it appears you've saved us the trouble. Incredible. He shorted out the input helmet by pure force of will alone. No one's ever done that before. I gotta think that this character, this reconditioning tech or scientist, is someone Starlin knows, if not Starlin himself, placed in the comic, because the face is just so real. It looks like it's based off a quote-unquote real person. So Warlock has kind of sorted things out a little bit. Of course, you finally penetrated my disguise, the Magus says. My Wizard of Oz deception has served its purpose. So at last, I can finally reveal my true self to you. I am the true Magus. My plans required a stand-in up until now. I needed to keep you off balance, uncertain. Otherwise, you might have been able to alter my past, your future. But the danger of that happening has passed. We've come too far now, down the path of my creation. You've lost, Warlock. There is absolutely nothing you can do to change what's about to occur. Next, madness in the House of the Magus. What a great final page here, full page shot of the Magus sitting on his throne. Just an awesome character design. I love it. I love the purple. This idea that he is Warlock's future self. So cool. The story, the circular nature of the story is so cool. So now we have Steve Leialoha back, which is great. I love his inks on Starlin's pencils for this next part of the story. Len Weins listed as the editor, Leialoha the inker, Orzechowski the letterer, and then Jim Starlin's the penciler, colorist, and writer, of course. So great way to bring us up to speed here with these quick arrow captions. Look at this floor here, all the colors on it, just so cool. Little touches like that just really bring out the cosmic strangeness in the story. And I love his use of this Kirby crackle here. This green and yellow is so striking. You're an intolerable cancer in the very heart of the universe and must be stopped from infecting the remainder of the stars. And who, pray tell, is to stop me? Me! Ha 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 ha. So Warlock quickly finds he doesn't have the power to take on the Magus directly. You poor fool. Your ego betrays you. You still believe you can struggle against the unjust whims of fate and create your own destiny. You refuse to believe you're nothing more or less than what the powers of chaos and order wish you to be. So again, hidden in this story, or not really hidden, but out there in the open, is kind of a rumination on destiny, fate, whether you can change the course of your life, whether you're trapped in a cycle that you cannot escape from. Very cool here. We see kind of the first sort of Starlin bending figures and bending this Warlock face to show the madness that's raging. We're going to see more of that as the series goes on. Very cool. And Gamora has a hidden purpose, and here we get a hint of it here. There's another agent involved. For what I'm about to tell you is best reserved for our ears alone. That's exactly what I wanted to hear you say, Magus. It's time to contact the Master. I must clear my thoughts, let them drift out into the void. I must search out and touch his mind with mine. Master, Gamora. Telepathic linkage has been achieved. Report. It is as you predicted. I am undetected. I stand mere steps from the Magus, yet he remains unaware of my presence. What do you instruct? Wait. Wait until the moment we've agreed upon, for the Magus's godlike senses may yet breach that defense his own nature has given us. But when that point in time arrives, strike with every ounce of speed and strength I've given you. The very fate of the stars rests with you. Yes, Master. So who is this mysterious master? Well, we'll be seeing him soon. The Magus continues to pontificate about his origins and about how in the course of that origin, Warlock will become him. And we see our first inkling here of the in-betweener. He is known as the in-betweener, his realm, that space between fact and fantasy. You will strive to elude him, but the radiation emanating from your body will unfailably lead him to you. So exactly 3 hours after he has been called, the in-betweener shall reach out and touch you, thus transporting you instantly into his own bizarre domain. There you will learn that his is the land between reality and illusion, time and space. This is as trippy and cosmic as Marvel's Cosmic Universe gets. And it's pure Jim Starlin, and it's totally awesome. Check out down here. That could be an album cover from the 70s. So cool. And here's that telltale cocoon, and then Warlock bursting from it as the Magus. The people were even then scientifically advanced, yet they remained a superstitious lot. Upon making contact, they immediately attacked, thinking me a demon of some type. So I showed them how a demon protects himself. Fortunately, the years of incubation within my chrysalis had given me those powers that you had forsaken when you left the cocoon and the high evolutionary. Left the cocoon to aid the high evolutionary. They're pointing back to Marvel Premiere #1. So he basically takes control, and that's how he gets the star empire that he has in the Universal Church of Truth. And again, this is all kind of like a weird time loop thing as Warlock tries to strive against his destiny. Did I do this last time around? Yes, and this is exactly the way I reacted to your efforts. Now things should really begin to happen. You'll now get up and resume your futile attack, and I'll respond like so. No. Great fight sequences here. And another awesome sort of reality-bending panel by Starlin. As up is down, down is up. Very cool. And Warlock is trying to keep up with the Magus. Meanwhile, Pip and Gamora are disconcerted by the reality. And that mysterious agent is contacting Gamora again. Right, Master? Correct, Gamora. The Magus is so sure that all will happen as before that his senses refuse to accept the fact that you, a foreign element, have entered his reality. Yet wait until he is completely engrossed with summoning the in-betweener before you strike. With that specially tempered dagger, whose blade will even slay one such as the Magus. I've trained you so that the Magus's distortion will not hinder you now. Now, the moment is upon us. You need wait. No longer. It's time this dark comedy came to an end. So here we have a brilliant 12-panel sequence on this page as we count down to the Magus energizing Warlock and calling the in-betweener. And it's so cool. Again, no dialogue needed here. Warlock, you can see the hopelessness on his face, trapped by his destiny. The Magus looking supremely confident. Meanwhile, Gamora, who's invisible to him, moving in at the last second, thinking to slay him, but she can't. An emerald ray lashes out, even though it causes no pain. A blood-curdling scream of anguish springs from the soul of Adam Warlock, for he knows that nothing will ever be as life, carefree or happy as those days past, now lost forever. So you could get into some deep analysis just on this panel and these two captions alone. Pretty great stuff. And Gamora was not able to stop him. It's all over. What had to be is. Not even the injection of a new element, this jade demoness, into my reality could change its final outcome. Luckily, my astral senses pierced the girl's multi-actual camouflage in time to stop her from throwing me off my cosmic timetable. It's so cool. It's like, luckily, my astral senses pierced the girl's multi-actual camouflage. It's so cool. And now he leaves Warlock to wait the 3 hours for the in-betweener to show up. And Warlock is just filled with hopelessness here. But just to keep Warlock busy, the Magus is going to send some of his finest Black Knights to slay Pip and Gamora and keep Warlock occupied in the meantime before the in-betweener shows up so that nothing else can go wrong. Meanwhile, back at room number 7, sublevel 2. I hate to be the one that has to say this, but it looks to me like the universe's great golden hope has gone to pieces. I'd best inform the Master of our situation. There is no need to, Gamora. I've been observing the proceedings with the utmost interest. I've also determined the best course of action for me is to follow. Stand back. I'm about to phase into your sphere of existence to take personal control of the situation. I must admit that I severely underestimated the Magus' power. I had hoped Gamora's interference into the Magus' past-present reality might be powerful enough to disrupt that which has been and will be. So I must now impose a new element into the Magus' fantasy reality that he won't be able to dismiss with the back of his hand. And I assure you, Thanos is such an element. I had hoped to avoid personal involvement in this affair, for other, more important matters now scream for my attention. Yet those plans depend on Warlock's continued well-being, so I find that I am forced to intervene. So Thanos now stands with you, Adam Warlock, prepared to fight to the death. Next, Warlock and Thanos battle side by side against a world. Incredible. Enter Thanos here, and he looks amazing. This is, again, each time Thanos appears and Starlin draws him, he's refining his look. So here we're getting closer to that look that we'll see in Infinity Gauntlet. Very cool. Incredibly trippy cosmic issue. And we have the covers of the two issues where these stories originally appeared. Strange Tales featuring Warlock, Strange Tales 181. And then with that following issue, they left the Strange Tales behind and picked up the numbering of the old Warlock series that went from 1 to 8 before it was put on hiatus, and now they started it up again with number 9. So very cool. Great to see those original covers there. And neat little ad for a Frank Brunner Doctor Strange story. And look at this inside back cover here with new, it looks like it's new Starlin here, new as of 1982, with the Madness Monster and Warlock within its maw. So super cool. Warlock Special Edition number 2. Also available in a probably easier to find version that was published in 1992. Same material. Doesn't, I think, include the... still does include the covers, but not the... It has new ads from the 1992 period, so it's slightly less quality paper, but still solid enough. So yeah, that was Warlock Special Edition number 2. Hope you enjoyed it. And I'll be back with more soon on Scott Reads Comics. Please like and subscribe and tell your friends. And I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.